And welcome back to On Location. Today we're at the Hoagland Center talking with composer and multimedia artist Dave Cain.
Hey,
Dave,
Kurt, how you
good
doing?
to see you.
Good to see you
Thanks for
too.
inviting
Yeah,
us in today.
yeah, my pleasure.
So, kind of tell me, where have you been? What have you done with your life? Yeah,
Well, when I was a small child, actually,
I grew up.
well, actually, the funny story. I was just talking to someone in an interview about getting started in recording, and I had the recollection of being a small child, about 8 or 9, and getting a first recorder, which is an old reel-to-reel recorder, and I started recording everything that moved and didn't. And I'm still doing it. I'm still recording, and it was that spark, I think, that really got me excited as a young child. That now I'm still love it every day.
Yeah. So how did your business come to be here at the Hoagland Center?
Well, I've had U-Media for many, many years. Matter of fact, I'm going on 25 years of being in business.
Wow! Congratulations.
This fall, thank you. And Grace Nanavati, who's a trustee here at the Hoagland and a driving force for this whole enterprise, mentioned to me that there was a space in the Hoagland and would I be interested in being a part of it. And I thought, wow, cool. So I came down in this very space. It was all drywall and dust and wooden floors, being stripped, ready for the remodeling. And I said, yeah. So it was like 2004, and then I moved in. The grand opening was that, I think, New Year's Eve of 2004, and I've been here ever since. I love it, collaborating with the other arts groups.
Just about ready to celebrate a decade.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So, tell me about some of your projects these days. What do you got?
Well, I'm really excited about a couple of projects. One is getting ready to hit the airwaves and the storefronts online. It's called Sound Portraits. I've been collaborating with Paul Wertico, who's a 7-time Grammy winner, an amazing drummer, and become a great friend as well. And Larry Gray, bass player, flute, guitar, just a multi-instrumentalist that you don't meet very often, just amazing talent. And we did a show back in March, and we're getting ready to release a DVD and video and audio of the concert. It was all improvised, and these guys are just totally amazing musicians and people, and we clicked from the start and love making music.
Now, some people would refer to it just as jazz, but is there another definition for the music?
It's like having the label of food. We all eat food, right? But sometimes it's a little bit spicy. Sometimes it might be, seafood. Sometimes we might choose salad or fruits and vegetables. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we like to bring all that kind of food to our musical table. And my background is, orchestral music. I'm a composer and written for chamber orchestra, jazz orchestra. Had music on the radio with Geffen Records in the 80s. And he's played with Pat Metheny for like 18 years, and Ken Nordine, Kurt Elling, these major forces. Matter of fact, a group called SVB, which is in Europe, they're platinum sellers, and they're more maybe rock oriented. So, and Larry he's played all kinds of music. So we just love making music. So when we improvise, whatever comes out, it could be funky, it could be jazzy, it could be orchestral, it could be elements of a folk tune, folk melody, and adding lyrics and words, and using iPads and saxophones and cello, bass, flute, electronic drums, electronic instruments, voice. We like to just come and say, let's make a really good meal for our audience, and we want to be honest. So, if we can be honest with what we're doing on stage, and just let it go, then we're going to trust that it's going to be a good meal. We're not going to put cardboard in your pizza. We're going to use the best dough and flour and
really
anchovies.
Some imaginative ways to create music. Now, I remember from this particular performance in March where you were playing an iPad, and you don't generally see that a lot when you're out watching performances.
Right.
And you were able to implement this into your production that the three of you have done. And so kind of tell me where that comes from and why go to an iPad?
Well, the amazing thing about technology is, even in my business, like I said, in 25 years, in multimedia, I've always felt like you've got to ride the wave. I like the excitement of being on the wave of what's going on. And the designers now have moved from the computer world, and having early sampling technology back in the 80s myself, it was a new way to make sound. I love sound, love exploring sounds. And the iPad is just another tool. It's a computer. Mm-hmm. And it's you can sample sounds. They've figured out ways to emulate acoustic environments and mix it with electronic, mathematical environments, and some of the software allows you to play things in different ways. There's one app that I'm using, it's called TC11, and I'm in contact with the developer of that, and just a brilliant piece of software that you can assign sound as you would an old-fashioned synthesizer. You can shape it, you can create an interface, though, that is your own performance interface, instead of a keyboard of a, let me get a prop here, instead of getting a keyboard of the old technology, which is good. You can get a keyboard on an iPad that is maybe circular. It could be maybe instead of playing octaves in a linear fashion left to right, maybe the octaves are stacked vertically. So everything is right here in this space. And not only can you hold a note, but as you hold it and move it around the screen, it changes its values and parameters. So the iPad is not a toy. The new instruments that are available on it rival anything that's being made in a box. Mm-hmm. It's just that if people are willing to take a leap and say, I am willing to accept sound and potential inventions for what they are, and see how they can be used as a tool, then the world will be a better place.
Well, that's true.
Maybe it's like, the Flat Earth Society, they're probably not going to dig this stuff.
Well, you're stretching the boundaries of what is known and trying to experiment and create new sounds.
Right, and it's exciting. And so I'm thinking about, wow, what can I do now that honors the past, that welcomes the future, sound, making sound that excites me. So when I'm developing sounds using these apps and this technology, I'm trying to think, what really makes my ears tingle? What makes them feel good? What sensation do I really enjoy? And I think and Paul's the same way, and Larry, and same with the choice of words. When I come up with a word or a phrase like, you dance inside my chest where no one sees you except sometimes I do, and that becomes this art. There's some sort of, I want to convey a message about peace, love, happiness, mind, body, spirit, become aware. And so right now I'm passionate about it because this is what I do, this is what I love to do, and each day is a new adventure for me, whether I'm making a new piece of musical work, or working on a movie, or animation, or
you bring up a good
that's
point.
Just exciting to me.
You've done some films in the past, and actually you have one that you're beginning to construct now. Tell us a little bit about the Yellow Wallpaper.
Well, the Yellow Wallpaper was a collaboration with a local actress, Osni Vigasa, who's just an amazing talent, performing this piece at the Vachel Lindsay home based on a story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and in a very small space, very intimate space. And I thought, I wanted to be able to see that as an audience member from different perspectives. I wanted to actually get up close. So I took the camera, and the video is basically a 50-minute performance with Osni in a dance with the camera. And it's selling on Amazon like crazy. I had no idea that it would be a hit, but this little historical drama at the turn of the century, late 1890s, is very popular, and people are downloading it, and renting it and buying the DVD. And as a matter of fact, UIS class this summer is licensing it for their class. So it's very popular in women's literature, and as well as in the minds of a lot of people who are seeing this as not so separate or distant from what the story is about back then. It's still relevant.
So what's the next project? Or,
well,
are you free to talk about it?
Well, no, actually I'm working with my attorney in Chicago, and we're coming up with the business plan, wrapping it up for a film. Right now I'm calling it Close to the Edge. It's a story about a young woman who's seeking her independence, and she's struggling with the elements of life, trying to find fulfillment. You know, it's innocence lost, wisdom gained, and she's going through this life journey that it's a powerful one that we all can relate to. But I'm felt compelled to create one with the you know, a female protagonist that could tell the story.
Seems like a theme. The yellow wallpaper was about a woman actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a woman actress that portrayed it.
Right.
And then now you've got another woman actor. So is there a building theme with all
No,
these,
actually,
or?
no. Well, I don't think so. I think because I have a whole list of screenplays that I've written and movies that I want to make. I just felt like that right now, this actually the Close to the Edge screenplay started off with a male lead. It's kind of based loosely on my own life, and but I just felt like at this moment in time, we hear about in politics and our own culture, society in the Middle East, the role of women. What do we think as a society about women? How do we value the women in our lives, whether it's our mothers or wives or daughters? Mm-hmm. And I just thought, you know what, it's time that a female character has this power and this status, and we follow her through discovery of a prophet, whether it's the Buddha or, you know, in the Western religion, there's, you know, where are the women? Well, they're usually secondary. Well, you know, I'm thinking it's time. Maybe this will be the first. So I've been actually talking to people who've been involved in the movie business to look at my script and make sure that it honors the women's perspective, because to be honest with you, I don't I don't have that full range of experiences and understandings, and it's been an interesting study for me, because I'm learning a lot about women things that I didn't know. And you know, over the course of time, having a lot of interactions with women, I realize there's a lot that I don't know or haven't realized or haven't even allowed those opportunities to come. Tell me what you think. What are you feeling?
Well, and ultimately,
You know,
I think that goes with all of us. I mean, we all can learn and grow over time. So, let's take a moment, and we're going to watch one of your videos, or at least part of it.
Okay.
And we'll give our viewers a chance to actually experience Paul Wertico, Larry Gray, and Dave Cain.
If I love myself, I love you. If I love you, I love myself. In your life, I learned how to love. In your beauty, how to make pose. You dance inside my chest when no one sees you. But sometimes I do, and that becomes as art. 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 And that becomes as art.
So you've seen a taste of what Paul Wertico and Larry Gray and Dave Cain had to offer here back in March. This was the performance that you just put on back in March.
Right.
Now, over the years, you've had tremendous amount of experiences. I mean, you've been in bands, they've broken up, you've reformed others, you've gone on. What are some useful tips to individuals that are starting out in the game and that are wanting to succeed? And really, there's different levels of success,
Right.
ultimately.
Right.
So, what kind of advice can you give to those people?
Good question, Kurt. My advice for people that are interested in pursuing the arts is that it's for me, it has to be a passion. I wake up in the morning, I want to make something, whether it's a video, movie, music, a book, painting, or something. I want to make it, and I'm driven to make it. It's my passion. So number one, you have to be passionate about it. Number two, you have to be able to dedicate the time and energy to develop your craft. Lots of time. People are going out to party. I'm going to be working on my new book, or my new song. So I say, time and energy. Stay sober. Focus. Let your art be your passion be your bliss. Find a mentor. Find people who are doing what you love to do. Ask them lots of questions in a nice way. Don't pester them too much, but be there. As a matter of fact, there's a young woman coming this afternoon to visit with me that I agreed to talk with about future in audio and art technology. And then practice. Learn and practice. Learn and practice. Read, study, watch, listen. Whatever you're passionate about, find those people that you really like, that you appreciate their work. Find out how they did that. Think about what it is they're doing. And think about your own voice then, finally. What do I have to say? How do I want to say it? And let it be. The universe is going to open doors for you in ways that you don't imagine, so be willing to accept that as well. And I'm convinced that if you work hard, you try hard, you're passionate about it, you're going to find those pathways that open up to you to
And ultimately, don't
flourish.
let rejection get in your way.
No. As a matter of fact, when I was looking for a record company in the 80s, I knocked on hundreds of doors, handed out hundreds of tapes and records. Back then we had tapes and records. And finally I was about, thinking, another rejection. I walk into the skyscraper in Manhattan. All the music companies used to be within like 2 blocks. And I walk into Geffen Records, into their foyer. Beautiful foyer, sofa, paintings. It's just like it was, I remember it vividly. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, the security guard's not going to escort me out, or what do you want, kid? And they said, well, hi, what are you here for? I said, well, I wanted to meet with somebody. I'm an artist, musician, composer, performer. I'd like to share my music with somebody. Oh, fine, have a seat. Oh my God. Yeah. So my actual contact was visiting from LA that particular week. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, he took my stuff, and I thought, oh, well, that's another rejection. He loved my music. He was my advocate, tried to find me work, actually pitched my music as a work for share, and tried to get me work with famous artists on the Geffen label. And so, but it was after that 100th, 200th time, there it was. But if I would have given up before that, I would have never met the guy. If I wouldn't have reached out and doing things. I would have never met Paul Wertico if I wouldn't have done things with that animation and music. I never would have been an Apple evangelist if I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I wouldn't have started my own multimedia video company if I, you know. So getting out there in the public and doing your thing and having a passion for it, amazing things can happen.
Wow.
You saw it here. It's in writing. Kurt's
Great,
got it on his paper.
great advice, Dave. I've known you for many, many years, and I really appreciate you letting me come in today and talk to you about your projects and about the performance that you had back in March. I just thank you very, very much for letting us be here.
Well, thanks
And,
so much, Kurt, and
I
thanks
hope
for
we'll
helping
be
me
back.
on that project.
I
I'd
hope
love
we'll be
to.
back at some point in time and
Absolutely.
keep track of what you're doing, and we'll
All
follow
right.
up with you.
Yeah, good luck with your show.
Well, thank you very much.
Bye.